In these videos, we will be studying pressure difference and buoyant force in accelerating fluids. See, in the last videos, we studied pressure difference and buoyant force for the liquids which are not accelerating, where it was inertial reference frame. Now we are trying to study pressure difference and buoyant force in non-inertial reference frame. Non-inertial frame. Suppose we have a fluid like this. So this is the fluid. Inside you have say liquid like this. Alright, and suppose it is kept on the platform. It's kept on a platform, and this is kept on a platform, and suppose the whole platform is going up with say acceleration A. The whole platform is going up with acceleration A. Now if I take a point, say 2 points over here, say point A and point B, and we want to get the pressure difference between point A and point B. What is the difference in pressure at point A and point B, right? So what we can do is, suppose the distance, the height, the difference of height is h. So again we will use the same procedure. We'll use the same procedure. Let's consider a surface which is containing point A and the surface which is containing point B, and let's consider the liquid lying in this cylinder, right? Liquid lying in the cylinder. So on the sample of liquid which is lying in the cylinder, you have a pressure, that is PBA acting over here. Here you have the force acting as PA into area. Suppose this area is not A, I take S to avoid any confusion. And this fluid, if I take an observer in inertial reference frame, if I take observer inertial reference frame, so how will we see? He'll be saying this sample to be accelerating in upward direction. If I take an inertial observer over here, he'll see the whole apparatus, whole system moving in upward direction with A. So this sample is also accelerating in upward direction. This sample is also accelerating in upward direction. That means what? That means PB into S minus PA into S equals to mass into acceleration. So what is the mass? Mass is rho SH into A, right? Rho SH into A. And you have one more force, I have forgotten it, that is mg. So mg is how much? Rho SH into G. So not only this, the net force in upward direction would be minus rho SHG equals to mass into acceleration, which is rho SH into A. So your S will cancel out everywhere. So you have PB equals to PA plus rho G plus A into H, right? It is rho G plus A into H. Getting a point? So that's how the pressure difference PB minus PA is. Earlier it used to be rho GH, now it is rho G plus A into H. If it is accelerating downward direction, I will put here minus A. I will put here minus A. A will become negative. Alright. So this is how we can calculate the pressure difference in case of accelerating fluids. If I take 2 points like this, A and B, then there is no pressure difference as such between A and B. A and B are the same height. So PA is equal to P at A is equal to P at B. If the acceleration is the vertical direction, there will be only change in the pressure difference at the 2 points which differ vertically by H. If A and B are the 2 points and they are at same height, there is no pressure difference. But the things will change if suppose instead of this acceleration, if acceleration is this, then there will be pressure difference between A and B. In that case, I will take this kind of cylinder. and pressure over here is what? PA into S, as is PB into S, and then you have PA into S minus PB into S equals to, if suppose the mass is say the length is L, then I'll write rho S L into acceleration. mg will act in downward direction, so that will not be contributing to the motion in horizontal direction. So this observer is going to observe this whole sample with acceleration a. So net force towards right is Pa into S minus Pb into S equals to mass into acceleration. So Pa is Pb plus Pb plus rho La, right? Getting a point? This is how we can find. This is how we can find Pa will be higher than Pb in this case. Pa will be higher than Pb in this case. I hope you understand. So there will be difference in the pressure at the point A and B, which are the same height, if the whole system is accelerating in forward direction. Similarly, there will be difference in buoyant force also. Earlier we saw that buoyant force was equal to mass of the liquid, weight of the liquid displaced, weight of the liquid which is displaced, right? This buoyant force was equal to, we saw that if I replace, if I say, let me talk about buoyant force now. Suppose we have a vessel, say like this. Yeah, vessel like this, and suppose we have the liquid over here, and inside we have a object. So we saw that when the vessel was non-accelerated, when this was not accelerating, in that case a buoyant force was equal to, buoyant force acting in upward direction was equal to weight of the liquid which is displaced by this body. Buoyant force was equal to weight of the liquid which are displaced by this body. And how do we arrive at that? What we did was we replaced this body with the equivalent amount of water. See, we have liquid over here. So how we got this idea? See, this buoyant force is because of these forces. These forces, resultant of these forces, resultant of the forces which the fluid exert on this body, that resultant comes out in upward direction F, and you have mg in downward direction, right? So the resultant of the forces which are applied by this surrounding fluid particle on this body give rise to this buoyant force. And how we arrive at this? We got this mg. How we arrive at this? What we did was we replaced this body by equivalent amount of liquid, by same sample of liquid. So the things become homogeneous, and then when you have liquid over here and same liquid over here, things are in equilibrium. And in that case I saw that net force which is exerted by this surrounding fluid must be equal and opposite to mg of that liquid. Only then this can remain in equilibrium. But now if the whole thing is moving at A and I have an inertial observer over here, then if I replace the body with a liquid sample, then that liquid sample, instead of being in equilibrium, it would be accelerating with air. Since the whole system is accelerating, so any inertial observer would be seeing, if we replace the body by liquid sample, that liquid sample, instead of being at in equilibrium, it would be accelerating with A because it is lying in this apparatus and the whole system is moving here. So in that case, net force which is exerted by the fluid minus weight of that liquid must be equal to ma. So buoyant force will be mg plus a, and the same force will act if I replace this liquid sample with any body. So in the case when the whole liquid system is accelerating with a, the buoyant force will become mg plus a. Buoyant force will become mg plus a. All right, getting a point? There is one very famous question also which comes usually, that if you have, say, a beaker like this, and we have the liquid over here, So this is the upper layer of the liquid is horizontal completely, but if this start accelerating with A, the liquid become the layer of liquid gets like this. It makes an angle. See, the layer of liquid comes like this. It makes certain angle, say theta, with the horizontal. So if I want to find this theta, what should I do? What I can do is I can consider a liquid sample, a liquid particle over here. So what are the forces acting on this liquid particle? One force is, say I consider liquid particle of mass dm, then one force is dmg, and then this liquid particle will be interacting with all other fluid particles, and that will exert a normal reaction, right? It's lying on the upper surface. So if I take this kind of coordinate system x and y, so it is theta, this will be theta, and this will be theta. So your n cos theta is dmg, and n sin theta, if I take an inertial observer over here, so what he will be seeing? He will be seeing this liquid particle moving with acceleration a, because the whole system is moving with acceleration a. So net force in x direction would be n sin theta dm into a. So if I divide 1 and 2, that gives us what? Tan theta equals to a by g. Tan theta equals to a by g. So we get this theta, we get this angle theta. Okay, so this is how we can find the angle by which this upper layer will be called slanted, the angle which upper layer makes with the horizontal when the whole system is accelerated with it. That's the angle. If a is 0, this theta is 0. Okay, this is how we can do. Okay, thank you very much.